Okay, in the last session, we have seen about the some key terminologies of cybersecurity, especially the mobile computing, wireless and smart hand devices. Any doubts are there? Clear, right? Fine. Now we're going to know about trends in mobility. Which are the trends are available with the mobility? Okay, by looking into the figure which is shown here, there are different mobility types and the implication. Uh, Smart mobile technology is rapidly gaining popularity. Nowadays, you can look everyone, either a kid or a elder person. Today, without mobile, no life. So that much of popularity of that mobile devices gained. So in this case, popularity is increased. Definitely, the market revenue also increased. Parallelly, the threats also increased because many a times what happens as a user, technical user know that how to protect the device. Non-technical users, elders, they don't know how to operate the mobile phone in full-fledged. In such situations, definitely the devices what they are using are vulnerable to attack. So popularity has been increased. The market revenue from that mobile devices also increased. Parallelly, the attackers also increased because of many different set of users. So attackers are among its biggest fans for mobility. Why? Because mobile is a small device. It has a limited capacities. Either it may be a memory or it may be a batteries or it may be the application which are more vulnerable, especially the Android applications are more vulnerable than the Apple one. So now the current thing is you need to be very serious if you want to protect the nation or protect the individuals. You should be think in a positive direction how you can overcome these existing vulnerabilities which is exist with the mobile devices. So, look into here, the different set of mobilities are there. User mobility. User mobility means user is moving from one place to the another place. So, if he carries a phone, also along with him, that phone is also moving from one place to the another place. So, that is user mobility, user interaction model. Device mobility. Device is also, it is a smaller battery driven devices, multiple heterogeneous networks. Every time the device move from one place to the another place, as you are aware in computer networks, probably you heard about a handoff, switching the switching from one tower to the another tower. The mobile switching from one tower to the another tower. When you move from, for example, if you are moving from electronic city to the Elahanka, in between, so if you carry the device from electronic city, when you move towards the junction, definitely, obviously, the signals also the tower signals also switching from electronic city to the junction, then gradually MG road, like that. So whatever, if you are moving from one place to the another place, along with your movement, device also moving. When device is moving means, technically speaking, it is switching from one tower to the another tower. So otherwise, so if you were, because of the limited range of mobile covers the limited range, if there is no tower in between means, definitely you won't get the signals to for communication. That's why some certain distance usually the towers covers. That's the device mobility. Then session mobility, issues in data distribution. The session mobility means, for example, when you start logged in into the any account, any application account, when you started moving also, you are keep on continuing working on the same session with the application you logged in. So they have to switch not only the signals, they have to switch the sessions between from tower to tower. That handoff concept works. So session mobility also required when devices or user is moving from one place to the another. There is an here again, if whenever signals is off or the signal is weak, in such cases also session needs to be maintained. Otherwise, what happens, automatically the application is going to be logged out in case of non-availability of the signals. So every time if you are login means, it becomes difficult for the user to log in every time such kind of applications. So technically it is a very complex, looking like simple, but the maintaining the consistency, reliable signals, reliability from one place to the another place, it's a challenging one. Then service mobility, that is distributed life cycle management security is strong issue. So the service mobility here, the even switching from one place to the another place, the services also needs to be transferred for such particular handheld device. See, think if you are using one Android phone, so how many number of users are using, at least minimum, many individuals have two mobile phone with one Airtel connection is another Geo connection. So whenever you are moving, two mobiles are switching from one tower to another tower. So complexity, how much complexity is increased here? Okay, this is the different trends in the mobility, how mobiles are movement is happening from users, device, session, and the services.
So some people are waiting in lobbies.
Okay, this is the explanation of the same what I did there. Smart mobile technology is rapidly gaining popularity, and the attackers also its biggest fans. So realize the seriousness of cybersecurity issues in the mobile computing domain. So the major limitation of mobile phone is the limited resources. Either it may be hardware resource, or it may be a software resource, or it may be a service resources. Because the device size is small, even though advantage in the nanotechnology, that is nano sizes also, there is always the scope for the limitation for the mobile devices. So here X stands for, you can put 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, etc. Here X stands for the general term. XG means 2G, 3G, 5G, 4G, 6G in future. Probably 5G and 6G may coming up. So here you can replace X by the 3G. The 3G networks are not entirely built with IP data security. So those networks mainly they are concentrated on speed up the communication rather than the providing security. Because one person, if he wants to improve the speed of a network, he cannot concentrate on the security wise. So in 3G networks, they are more concentrated on fast communication rather than the data security. So IP data world when compared to the voice centric security threats is a new to mobile operators. Now it is overcome by the 4G networks. Now it is in fifth generation. They are looking into both the fastest networks and as well as they are providing the security in the 5G networks. Even though they are providing security, they are always there is a scope for the progress, right? There are numerous attacks that can be committed against mobile networks and they can originate from two primary vectors. There are, even though there are many measures are taken to protect the devices, to protect the network, to protect the users and to protect the services, still there is a possibility of attacks on the mobile networks. The one attack which happened from outside the mobile network, that is public internet, private networks and other operators networks, with the help of them they can connect to the mobile network. Probably you heard about the sim skimming, right? So swim swapping. So all these things, how it is happening? So they make use of the because nowadays we can call we can initiate our call through the internet. So if it is possible to initiate the call, definitely there will be a, the assumption is that there will be a threat because anyone can spoof and call on behalf of someone, right? There's a possibility. The second kind of threat is within the mobile network, that is devices such as data capable handsets. So if you are storing a lot of data in your mobile phone, if you are not enabling the two factor authentication or if you are not providing the pattern passwords for accessing the phone, if whenever you are unattended your phone, if somebody able to physically access your device, obviously you are giving up your credentials indirectly to the person who is going to access your phones. So device, the other is within the mobile networks, data capable
Excuse me, sir.
handsets and smartphones, notebook computers, or even
Excuse
desktop
me, sir.
computers connected to the 3G networks. Yes,
Sir, some are waiting in lobby, sir.
they have to log in on time, otherwise it disturbs the class. So now 8:50, most of you are joining now. Within 5 or 10 minutes, you should be inside the classroom. Otherwise, it keep on disturbing me to deliver the information. So within the mobile network, data capable handsets and smartphones, notebook computers or even desktop computers connected to the 3G network or 4G network or 5G network. So these are all vulnerable for the mobile network attacks. One is from the outside mobile network, there is a possibility of attack to the mobile phone through public internet or private networks and other operators network. Another set of mobile networks is the data capable handsets, smartphones, notebook computers, or even desktop computers connected to the 3G networks. So the key findings for mobile computing security is with users experience, awareness of mobile users gets enhanced. So key findings is the security scenario with users experience, awareness of mobile users gets enhanced. So what is that usage experience? When you started using very first phone of your smartphone, you are not caring about the security issues. You are more concentrating on the features of the mobile phone rather than the security. When you keep on using your smartphone, then you started thinking about the security, to protect the WhatsApp application, to protect the Facebook application from the access of the other person in the family. Then you are thinking, by keep on thinking on, depending on your user experience, usage experience. So awareness of mobile users gets enhanced. So depending on the experience gained by the users over the years, then they started thinking on security. Previous to that, they are only highly emphasized on the features of the phones. Now, where nowadays security is much concerned by the end users. The second set of the key findings is, people continue to remain the weakest link for the laptop security. So, very beginning when we started discussion on cyber security, I was asked a question that who is the weakest link in the security part? Any individual or ourselves are the weakest link. Whenever we are not using any of the laptop or the desktop which is connected with the internet, we must disconnect immediately. We should not leave unattended whenever we are connecting to the internet. So there is an ignorance. Yes,
Sir, somebody is waiting in the lobby, sir.
let them be there. Almost 8:50 over.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
People continue to remain the weakest link for laptop security. So laptop security or desktop security is that so people, whenever they are not using the devices unattended, switched on mode, and ignored. Such situations, there is a this just assumptions. These are key findings. Whenever the security threats are there, these are the key findings from the experts, not from my side. It is from expert. This data is taken from the some of the papers. So wireless connectivity does little to increase the burden of managing laptops. Wireless connectivity does little to increase burden of managing laptop. See, probably whenever, so let's take example of the campus itself. Nowadays, every 10 meters or 15 meters, there is a router. So you won't face the switching, weak signals within the campus. So in earlier days, usually the routers are kept away approximately from 50 to 60 meters in between the department to department. In such cases, when you are moving your laptop to the classrooms and all, you won't able to get the sufficient Wi-Fi signal. In such cases, you are facing the weak signal to access your internet. Right. These are the some of the burdens they were observed during their study. So laptop experience changes the view of starting a smart held pilot. So laptop is also a mobility. It has a mobile movement from one place to the another place. Then they started thinking of building a smart held smart handheld devices which is capable of handling the switching between one router signal to the another router, one tower to another tower, etc. and so on. So laptop experience changes the view of starting a smart handheld pilot. So there is a naivety or neglect in smart handheld security. The latecomers is not allowed from next class onwards. Minimum 10 minutes before you need to be sit. Now the time is 9, you are requesting for that. It disturbs the class. Within 5 or 10 minutes you should be in. There is naivety. Naivety is nothing but a new user who does not know much about the smart devices, or the person who has experience. There is a chance of neglect or in ignorance on using the smart handheld devices. In such scenario also, there is a possibility of security threat. So instead of building a rules rather than technology, keep smart handheld usage in check. So suppose for this one example is, if you are entering into any defense area, sensitive area, in such cases they don't allow you to take your mobile device to the inside the premises of defense. Sir, ಗಾಳಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಗಾಳಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ತಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. Right? So instead of holding and sending them inside, they are policy procedure, they are keeping the rules that if anybody who is outsider of that agency or the defense, they needs to be switch off, keep that phone or device in the rack area which is entrance of that sensitive. So such kind of device, mobility devices are held, some rules are built on that technology. Otherwise there is a lot of vulnerability which is exists with this current world, because the people always like that, always they are taking over advantage of whatever the facility which is given. If technology is high, the obviously people started thinking in different direction. That's why, so some rules implications is must be followed when the technology is going to be used, whichever the technology, either security or something else. Some popular types of attacks against 3G or 4G mobile network is, you can look into these attacks. Almost we have discussed malwares, viruses and worms. Denial of service also they discussed. Spoofed policy development process also we discussed in the web phishing attacks. So remaining these two, overbilling attack and signaling level attacks needs to be discussed now. See, either laptop or desktop or mobile phone or any device which supports the software is vulnerable to the malwares, viruses and worms. The device which is connecting over the internet or connected with the internet, obviously there is a probability we are attacking. It is no guarantee of attacking or no guarantee of virus spread or worm spread, but probably they are infected with malwares, viruses and worms. The second is denial of service. So this attack happens when the people started using so traffic is flooded with unwanted packets, then they are stopping the end user to access the devices intended users devices, then users face the problem is that they are service delayed, like internet speed may be slow and all. So this is already we have seen DOS and DDoS. Now the third one is overbilling attack. So overbilling attack is the attack if you are purchased an internet. Nowadays it is unlimited internet, fine, not a problem. Even though unlimited also we have limited to 1.5 GB in case of the depending on the plan which you buy. If you are purchasing for unlimited, more than 1500 rupees you need to spend. Right. So if in case of limited bandwidth or the limited data, if you purchase a limited data for let us take you, if you are purchasing 5 GB data every day, in such situation, people, attacker or hacker, they got compromised your internet, then they started using your internet without your knowledge. Then they started using the network, means data consumptions will be more compared to your usage. In such situation, you are going to pay the bill that is used by somebody. That is termed to be as a overbilling attack. So overbilling means, so you purchase 5 GB, out of 5 GB you might be used only 2 GB or 3 GB, remaining 2 GB will be used by someone. So because of your credential compromisation. Through that, so that's why don't give up the credentials to the neighborhoods. They are going to peep into your network and they are going to use your service, your payment, paid service for their own use. Okay, that is termed to be as a overbilling attack. Then fourth one is spoofed policy development process. So spoofed policy means on behalf of someone, they are showcasing that, so we are belong to so and so company. It is also termed to as a defacement. So they are claiming that these kind of attacks which will happen, and signaling level attacks based on the signals, the signal hardware signals, the signals. By manipulating the signals, probably sometimes you are getting a cross calls. Whenever you are speaking with someone, the some other person is going to talk to you in between, cross calls. So there is actually it is not attack, it's a technical fault, but sometimes purposefully this is happens to listen. Probably recently you heard about the Phoenix attack. So what is that? Kadalike. That is listening, the passive listener is listening for the communication which is happened between the two active listeners, two active persons. Signaling level attacks. So malwares, let us look with respect to the mobile phone, we look into here instead of general. Malwares, viruses and worms, either 2G or 3G, 4G or 5G or 6G, or even in future if any 7G or NG. The mobile users of mobile always have awareness of threats that exist while using mobile device. So it is not end process, it is always the progressing. Features are adding, technology also advantaging, users also increasing, parallelly threats also increasing. Especially common threats are malwares, viruses, and worms. Whichever the technology, these three kind of attacks or the compromisation of the devices will be there. Some malwares specific to mobile devices are, these are the some of the malwares specific to the mobile devices. Skull Trojan. Skull Trojan. Usually it targets 60 series phones equipped with the Symbian mobile OS. Maybe you are not heard about the Symbian mobile OS. This was developed for the Nokia sets. Previously, it was developed for the Nokia sets. So it targets series 60 phones equipped with Symbian mobile OS. Probably you are not about this, but you are aware of Android and Apple phones nowadays. The second the malware type is the Kabir worm. Kabir worm or Kabir worm. It is again dedicated to the mobile phone. Worm infects phones running on Symbian OS. This is also targeted to the means initially the mobile OS was the Symbian and several other OSs was present depending on the mobile set producers, manufacturers. The each manufacturer has their own OSs before they are framing a committee. So HTC. So before framing the committee HTC, they are each manufacturer having the vendor dependent operating systems. So, but today for different set of mobile phones also same OSs are exist. So after framing the community and the association of the mobile vendors, then they came and agreed that they are producing the different the hardware set. For each hardware set, same operating system can be installed. Nowadays, the current scenario. That previous to that, different mobile manufacturer vendors uses their own operating system. One of that operating system is Symbian OS. So what this Kabir worm is going to affect on the mobile phone is it scans other mobile devices to send a copy of itself to the first vulnerable phone. It finds through Bluetooth wireless technology. So with the help of Bluetooth, that's why most of the time the experts are telling that whenever you are not using your Bluetooth communication, immediately switch off, because through the Bluetooth technology, virus can be spread, worms can be spread across. So if you are switch on your Bluetooth, if somebody having the worm unknowingly, maybe knowingly or unknowingly, because this worm is self-replicating across the mobiles which are connected to the internet or the Bluetooth technology. The worst thing about this worm is that the source of the Kabir H and Kabir High viruses is available online. See, that's why whenever you are unattended, the phones, mobile phones, especially whenever you are not using with the internet, then immediately switch off the data. So otherwise, some of the viruses, these are old viruses, I guess, but many advanced new viruses came up to spread across your mobile phone. That's why. So these are detectable or undetectable also. Then the third kind of the mobile device virus malware is mosquito Trojan. So it affects the series 60 smartphones and is a cracked version of Mosquito's mobile phone game. There is a game called as Mosquitoes. So especially it is when you install that Mosquito mobile phone game, there is a chance of affecting with the Mosquito Trojan. Then the next malware kind is the broader Trojan. So if it affects on the Windows Community Edition OS by creating a svc host.exe file. See, svc host.exe file is an belongs to the Windows. Almost it gives up full control of the device. If they are installing this broader Trojan, if it is affecting with your computer, that is Windows, then it give up the entire full system control to the hacker to access the broader to access your system. This executable file is conductive to traditional worm propagation vector such as email file attachments. Even this can be spread using the email communication. You can attach this broader Trojan even using email file attachment. But currently today the Gmail, especially Gmail, warms you whenever you are attaching the zip files or the video files or the audio file. Whenever you are attaching with Gmail notifies you that there is a possibility of virus. It is not telling that it is virus. There is a possibility of virus, which is up to the user whether they want to send or receive such kind of email attachments, etc., and so on. So the another kind of the malware is Lasco Varum. It targets personal digital assistants and mobile phones running the Symbian OS. Lasco is based on, again, it is depend on Kabir source code and replicates over Bluetooth connection. See the how much the Bluetooth connection is vulnerable to the mobile devices. That's why keep switch off the Bluetooth whenever you are not using. Okay, these are the some of the malwares, viruses and worms which affects on the mobile devices. So I repeat: Skull Trojan, Kabir worm, Mosquito Trojan, Broader, and Lasco worm. And the denial of service attack on the mobile phone is it is a vulnerable to intended user. This attack is to make the system unavailable to the intended users. Suppose if you are using the internet, if suddenly your internet is going slow down, then you can think that traffic is flooded with the unwanted packets by some attackers or the hackers. Sometimes some websites is asking choose the bicycles, choose the crossroads, choose the traffic light. So what is that? Why it is asking user? It is suspecting that this user is going to do some unwanted traffic with the internet. In such cases, it is asking to check whether you are a human being or a robots. Because why robots are used? Because through the robots there is a possibility of generating, because automated softwares usually generates the unwanted packets. As you've seen crunch in Nmap, you can see that you can generate the unwanted. Probably in ns2 also you can generate the packets to the internet, right? Probably you heard about all these things, right? Fine. See, virus attacks can be used to damage the system, to make the system unavailable. Security threats to the wired internet service like ISPs is a distributed denial of service attack. So usually the internet service providers, so either Airtel or the Reliance or Jio or Vodafone, or whichever the ISPs are the internet service providers, usually they are having their own infrastructure to maintain the service of the internet. Definitely they have the wired connection in their setup. while providing the ISPs to the mobile devices, they are connected their servers with the what we call it as the antennas. So antennas are the towers, the mobile towers. So if these kind of denial of service, the main target is system is unavailable to the intended users. Distributed denial of service attacks are used to flood the target system with the data so that the response from the target system is either slowed or stopped. Sometimes your system might hang even though it is not loaded with the full of memory. Still, the system facing the issues of slowing or the stopping type, not responding kind of warnings you are going to receive. So some of the denial of service attack vectors are botnets and zombies. Zombies is a collection of computers intended to generate the traffic. Botnets, robots are used for the same, are used to create enough traffic to impose that kind of damage. That's why then and then the websites are asking whether you are a robo or a human being. If you are a human being, then select a signal, traffic signal, cycles, the cars, buses, etc. Such kind of questions it is asking, right? So overbilling attack, as I said, if you paid for your service, somebody is going to use your service without your knowledge by hijacking your subscriber IP address. Then spoofed policy document processes. It is an exploit the vulnerabilities in the GPRS service. That is general tunneling protocol is used in this GPRS service. It exploits the vulnerability which is exist with general packet radio service. Usually GPRS service we are using in the walkie-talkie systems. In the walkie-talkie or FM, if you are using the FM radios, usually GPRS also used there. Signaling level attacks are, it uses the session initiation protocol. SIP are used in the signalizing protocol in IP multimedia subsystems networks to provide voice over internet protocol services. There are several vulnerabilities with the SIP based VoIP system, voice over internet protocol services. So they are making use of those vulnerabilities to attack the session of your mobile phones. Okay, these are some of the attack different methods of attacks on the mobile devices. There is a small assignment. So as I said, after the exam you are expected to submit the first assignment, that is password cracking. I told you to use the PSR to record the whatever the activity you are doing on the carrying out to crack the password to generate the report. Use the PSR. So how to use the PSR? Press Windows key and R. It will open the run command. Here type PSR means problem steps record. It is a recording tool, built-in recording tool of the Windows. When you click on OK, it will begin with the steps recorder. Then you click on the start record and start carry out the password attack, which the file which I am given to submitted to you to crack the password of that. Don't worry about whether it is password is going to crack or you are not going to get it. You need to understand that how to crack the password. That's the process you need to understand. Don't worry about the whether password is cracking, it is success or not. That is different. So you record, stop it, and it is asking for the saving. You save it. It will save in the form of .mht file. You send that .mht file to the Google Classroom, which I am creating in the assignment folder. You uploaded to that one. Okay. So the another class assignment is mobile security processing system. Explore this and create a report for 5G mobile phones. So the currently 4G mobile phone security processing system is there, 3G. Try to explore it for 5G mobile phones. Any questions are there? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, this PSR software will we get in Linux? Because I tried cracking in Linux.
Linux,
So
you can use Kazam.
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 So the spelling.
Kaizam. Kaizam or Kazam. Screen recorder built-in tool is there in Linux.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So whereas in Windows, PSR, problem steps recorder. Okay. So answer your attendance. Any questions with respect to today's content?